Welcome to today's presentation of Super Korean World, which is a major collaboration of makers from South Korea who put together 20 levels into this Super World that was uploaded a couple weeks ago at the beginning of March. And welcome in, Terminator. Not doing a queue today. We're running a Super World instead for the first time in a long time. I think this is the first one that we've run through, or decided to run through, since probably last June at least. But let's pop into it and see what it's all about. I believe this was mainly coordinated by Persia, who is a maker we've featured here many times before, both as an individual maker and as a contributor to 5 and 6YM, but it's a collaborative project involving quite a few people besides. And there are end credits with the full maker list that we will no doubt look after, or rather look up afterwards. So let's get in and play. 20 levels. As far as I know, it's kind of a mix of platforming and puzzles, and of course many music levels given the involvement of some very well-known music level makers like RBC. But let's get right into it. I do have the maker list here on the side, so I do know that Jumping Blocks, or 1-1, is by Persia. And it looks like the blocks are going to be springing up the platforms. And we'll just follow it up. And yeah, Terminator, in general with the Super World system, I actually have another problem with them, which is that you can't really re-enter levels. Which means that one of the main aspects of traditional design, which is the placement of secrets and other optional content, like bonus rooms, secret endings, etc., is just kind of rendered irrelevant unless you have something like a passcode system. Anyway, that's just a very quick and gentle introduction. And we have a star, which isn't going to get me anywhere right away, but we'll grab this and we'll continue. So yeah, quick little conceptual introduction. Not too much room for failure there. Now let's see the ghost house. And this ghost house, as far as I'm aware, Spring Sling Shot is by Poltrus, who usually makes some levels on a harder end. Of course, we are still in World 1 here, so probably not going to be too punishing. And checkpoint already, great. Yeah, it's going to be a fairly gentle introduction, but notice how this kind of springs you up right away into the next area. It does feel like a lot of these are built to be played for speed, actually, now that I look at them. And yeah, Poltrus is one of those people who is a very momentum-oriented maker, as you can see here. Always have to love how the pipes are connected between subworlds as well, artistically. Whoa, there we go. And that's going to spit out a platform for me, and down we go. Very tempting to hit those hard blocks with my head first, but let's not do anything that silly. Not yet. No, that was a bad idea, almost. Okay. Actually, not too much room for failure here, so for a moment I was a little bit alarmed, but it turns out we can grab the flag just fine. So yeah, fairly gentle introduction of World 1 so far. And yes, a very courteous save at the end there, for sure. Let's hit whatever is next. Okay, looks like a Doraemon music level. I think RBC was the maestro for most of these. RBC, who contributed several music levels of 5 and 6YM, as well as many other things I've played in the past. There's a very obvious spin jump there, as denoted by the mark of the Russian army. And I actually do vaguely remember this Doraemon theme melody from watching the show probably decades ago at this point. It was a very distant part of my childhood. Looks like we needed a bigger spin at the end there. Let's kind of hold into that. I don't know how we hesitated into it. It does advise you to run, so let's not be holding left or anything at any point. We can't be getting high bounces everywhere, though, because you do run into some traps like that. Yeah. So this is kind of like a speedrun style level. We do need to follow the markers, essentially. And jump, of course. Just a regular jump will do. Or those instruments that are placed over there. Yeah, let's not hold into that. Whoops. That's okay. No need to start over. We'll just take the death and add to our clear time. And yet, let's just perhaps take the instructions as slightly more than suggestions. And here we go. And okay, you do need to bop that as well as it comes down, hence the arrow. And yeah, Terminator is very much built as a music level first, I think. I typically don't prefer something this over-indicated as well, but it is built in the speedrun style, so... And then, where were we going to spin there? I don't actually see what the opportunity was going to be. And yeah, that's okay, we'll gradually navigate through. It is a little busy for me to read, but we'll try to make it happen. So you do kind of need to step to the beat, I've realized. It is in fact significantly easier if you do realize that you have to skip to the beat. But I don't see where that spin jump with the Z at the end there is going to come from. Whoops. Not like that, of course. I don't know why I instinctively jumped there, but that's becoming quite a bad habit. As we can see. Yeah, so even the little bounces on the consecutive chain chomps are kind of to the beat as well. So I'm supposed to get a high bouncer and hit the note block, and then I'm supposed to spin on something else. I don't see what the landing is coming from. But understanding this as a rhythm game level is suddenly making it click. Even with those 5 bounces there. Ah, okay, it's for the twirl. The spin is purely for the twirl. I should have realized that. So everything is on the beat, you just need to figure out what the inputs are. And I just missed that. This really does seriously bring back old memories of the Doraemon theme song, buried very deep One of the few things that was actually kind of pre-Nintendo for me, in fact. Yeah, even with a little syncopation at the end there, it is on the beat. And once you understand that, that's actually a fairly simple clear. So it looks busy, but once you sort of get the hang of the fact that you don't really need to think about the timings visually, things work out pretty well. Anyway, thank you for the GGs. We're not going to bother with too many of the bonus rooms, perhaps. Oh, we might as well. I haven't played a Super World in an eternity, so we may as well hear some of the old NES baseball music if we can. I comment on this every time I play a Super World, but this minigame really is one of the great retro Nintendo callbacks in Super Mario Maker. Because if you played very much of the original NES baseball, many of the sound effects are just kind of instantly recognizable for the curveball, the fastball, etc. Not that I'm reacting well to the sound cues, of course, but the sounds themselves are just seared into my brain. Also, oh, okay, we lost sound. I didn't realize that. I hope we didn't lose sound for the Doraemon level just now, because that would be an absolute shame. Yeah, I don't actually know if we lost music earlier. Hang on, let's fix this. This was what I was afraid of, given that we are going to have some music levels here. Okay, it should be back, but Terminator, can you confirm for me whether we still had music running in the music level earlier? Since you did watch it through, or did we already lose sound by then? Because if we did lose sound, I do want to replay that one very quickly. Because as a music level, you know, we do need to hear it properly. Okay, I did have it, okay. So it didn't cut out until the end. Yeah, I know you were here, which is why I am checking with you. I'm just making sure the sound didn't cut out by the end of that. Anyway, you're going to get a bounce off the POW here. And I guess the 1-up is just for people who take the first death and respawn at the checkpoint, just to keep things nice and gentle. Also because this jump is a little bit weird. So we'll see if we can make it work. I'm obviously supposed to jump off the POW, I'm just not quite managing it yet. Yeah, because the POW's forward momentum carries me off the edge pretty much immediately, so... Yeah, the idea is that you jump at the coin. And now that I understand that, this should be much simpler. Yeah, the coin is a jump marker. That's how it works. But then now you don't get jump markers, because at this point you're expected to understand the mechanic and the appropriate timing for it. Where it is going to be like a single tile of space before you have to hit the jump button after hitting the block. So it is all about mastering this one mechanic once the training wheels are off. There we go. And if you do get it, it's fairly simple. Whoops. And yeah, it is, once again, kind of a rhythm-based concept. But the indications are nice and minimal as well. Pretty easy to read. It's not a question of what to do here, just a matter of getting the timing down relative to the sound effect as well. Which gives you an extra oomph. Especially as you do several consecutive jumps in a row. Like we're doing here. I need to land on that. Now, do I stop on that? I think I do, because I need to get bounced. That is something new, so... Yeah, we do need to land on that in a way that is controlled, because otherwise a full jump does overshoot there. Just need to land on it gently, and then probably get a bit of an additional run so we can get off the POW at a lower altitude. Well, it's slipping off there. That's okay, things are just going to mix up for us a little bit here. And getting into a bad hold right habit just from earlier in the level. And this is all just about aiming the landing though, and the trampoline does come in low enough that even if I stand a little to the left side of the POW, it is not going to bump me, at least, as it comes down the diagonal track. So that's something to keep in mind. We can stand somewhat to the left, but obviously not that far. Okay. Bad reaction time, but we made it. Okay, that was actually just the last thing there, so might as well grab some lives while we're at it. And yeah, definitely a kind of SMP3 style length to this level that matches the aesthetic as well. Short and sweet. And Terminator, you're saying that the level is interesting backwards? It's pretty interesting forwards as well, to be honest. Okay, we are now in World 2. That last level was by Arden, who I don't really know. This one is by Gang, I think. Who I also don't think I know, but that's the nice thing about playing Super Worlds from communities like South Korea's is that... Oh, whoops, I wanted to hit the POWs. But that's okay. We'll go down. Is that you get to see a lot of makers who ordinarily don't show up to the English language streaming community, at least not very often. And so there are a lot of levels that you just ordinarily don't get a chance to see. And a lot of maker styles as well that are a relative rarity in terms of streaming coverage. I mean, there are a lot of Korean streams on Twitch as well, but understandably, I think there isn't that much cross-interaction between communities sometimes, apart from a few makers who do a crossover between both. And yeah, a couple of the makers in this project are fairly well known internationally. And then we're just going to get punched through here. That's a bit of a mushroom check. And then I think we just need to hit the POW here. That's a nice little interaction there, having the POWs send you through. And then the POW is going to give me a coin drop here, which may give me a vine. No, it's going to give me a spring. That's fine too. And then we'll have a heart at the very end. Can we actually get on the flag? I'm not sure if we can. We kind of have to wall jump off this block here to do it. I don't think we really can. Okay, good. That's within range. You hit a random button on your laptop that made you write backwards. That seems to be an extremely situational function. I can't really imagine why somebody would want that within easy reach. Not that we need the lives, but we might as well lose at baseball once again. I have beaten this with no mistakes at least once. But it's very rare, even with all the Super Worlds that I have played in the past. And yeah, it's always to change up the forkball that Causes a few problems for me. And there we go. One mistake. Not too bad. Okay. Let's take a look at this one. Stargazer. This one is by Nugent, I think. Not exactly sure how to pronounce some of these makers' names, unfortunately. So, this is low gravity, so we are going to be within range of hitting the on-off switch, and then we have to get out before the icicles hit us from above. That was actually very clear to me. We just missed. Yeah, I just need to follow momentum here, and then we have plenty of time to get back on. Yeah, that might be a bad idea. We needed to wait just a little bit longer, I think. Also spend less time floating. Okay, are we within range? Yes, we are. That seemed to be a problem. Oh, I guess we just needed to run off that platform before we get pushed. I see. So that was actually that condition. I don't know why I was expecting to get on top of that blaster. I think I just misjudged height since we're dealing with low gravity and the rules are ever so slightly different when it comes to estimating where to jump. Yeah, I was expecting that blaster to pop out an additional space because I wasn't watching the conveyor belt accurately, and so that was an avoidable mistake. Well, wait for the switch to hit, and then here we are. Okay. And surely this time we'll get a blaster, except I didn't read the bounce there accurately. We will need that upward momentum, I think. Yeah, because the note blocks were buried under the grinder blades there, I didn't necessarily know to expect it. But anyway, back we go. And we'll pop up. And up. Nope. Okay, let's take this over. And really do need to go off the edge on that one. And then do we have enough momentum? Yes, we do. Is that going to go down? Yes, it is. And back up. And yeah, the coins are kind of suggesting to me there that I need to go a bit low. We had plenty of information to signify that. Yeah, I think that's inherently kind of challenging to build a vertical climbing level like this in low gravity when your headroom is going to be a little bit constrained, and then you have to make sure that you can see where you're going and what the ceiling is going to be like on the camera and react within a very short span of time. And I think this level manages it quite well. We managed to get through a fairly big chunk entirely blind. And even when I did make a mistake at the end, it was certainly not something that really caught me by surprise. It was a very avoidable mistake. I think the rainbow there is kind of part of the visual cue for the point at which one must jump. Alright, up we go. And the honeypots, this brings back so many memories. Well, memories of what specifically, though? Of having played this specifically earlier, or just something else entirely? Anyway, welcome. I hope you're enjoying it so far as a viewing experience. And let's go up and back down. Okay, I am letting up on the jump there. I think that because of the low gravity mechanic, I just need to do a low bounce, perhaps. And that might be the actual solution. But we'll see. Yeah, I don't have a very good intuition for some of my jump heights when it comes to the low gravity mechanic. When it comes to what the timings are going to be for letting up on jumps or bowling into them all the way. That is part of the challenge here, just to develop a good sense of that. So this wasn't quite a full bounce, nor was it a low bounce. So yeah, I do have time to land on that platform and then jump onto the POW. It was obviously going to go down, not up. So I just didn't plan that very well since I was a bit focused on landing the jump in the first place. And then let's go over here. And back up. And then, here we are. Yeah, so I actually do need to get on top of the POW as soon as possible and then continue my jump past that. That's increasingly clear to me. I thought I'd have a little bit more flexibility on that, but I do not. Oh, whoops. Had my hand off the controller for a moment as we were into reset, so that was just kind of a blown attempt, but let's try it again. And up we go. And yeah, I don't want that blaster to get all the way up to the rainbow by the time I jump, because that will be slightly too late. And this part is, whoops, I was about to say a fairly simple read, but of course we have to actually take off from the platform accurately from time to time. That is a necessary part of the process here. Alright, let's continue. That's going to carry me forward. Yeah, a lot of the mechanical interactions in this level are pretty well disguised. I mean, the things that need to be visible to me as a player are still all visible. It's more that we have a fairly clean space to look at because a lot of the interactive elements, the note block activations in particular, and some of the switch activations are the things that visually are either hidden by overlaps or don't draw too much attention to themselves, so. Definitely a case of a level that is readable because of the way that some of the mechanics are hidden or shoved aside. It does mean that occasionally some of the bounces or some of the track movements do catch me off guard. I'm going to take the POW directly. I wonder if that's actually the solution here. Yes, it is, because you need to nuke the muncher. And there is something up top, by the way. Let's do that before we get up the pipe. And let's see what this is all about. Okay, spiny hats. But hopefully I need to use it as a hat, not as a shell. Yeah, because as a hat, it gives me a star. It looks like a bonus star is something that we're seeing in virtually every level as we get to the gate. That's just a little bit of a completion bonus at the very end. I think it's one of those signature features of the project and the way that the cakes would be for something like the YMM levels or other kinds of signatures would be for various other collaborations that we've seen on the stream before. Anyway, that was Stargazer. And next we'll see the Pokey here, which is going to be Meltdown Madness. And sure, we'll do a wall jump here strategically to grab the 10 coin if we can. Let's just build some momentum there, wrap around without taking too much of a death. Notice the key door that is at the end as well as the music that's being loaded in. My understanding is that this is actually a collaborative level. The music set up by RBC with its vertical global loading setup. And the level itself designed, I believe, by Shishiro, who was also featured in XY1-4B5-8TF and who is very frequently a maker of levels like Zelda Dungeons and other large maze-like layouts. So we'll see how that plays here with the vertical global music space. Okay. Oops. Missed a spring. I was trying to bounce it back with it. That was not quite working out. This music track is from one of the 3D Mario games. I'm trying to recall the specific level. I believe it is from 3D World. From one of the levels in that game as well, I think. Hence, Meltdown Madness. And yeah, we've played a lot of globally loaded music levels by RBC before. They do come in all shapes and sizes and all difficulties. And yeah, this is kind of interesting as a match of the music with the kind of theme of the platforming as well, in terms of having all the fire eradicate the ice that we're supposed to play with. Because I believe that was the original idea behind the level that gives this level its music. Okay, we're going to have to outrun this. Yeah, because why do I feel like it was something like the big fuzzy escape level in 3D World? That is what this is from. And as you can see, we're behind pace a little bit here. It is a bit of a race. And I could definitely feel already at that point that I was falling a bit behind. Yeah, I think that is the 3D World stage that this comes from, is the one where the fuzzies kind of spill all over the tower, and it is a bit of a chase, just like the vertical ascent we see here. Whoops, let's not jump so soon. Yeah, certainly visually one of the most striking levels in 3D World, if I've identified it correctly. But as I said, one that really fits this ice mechanic perfectly as well. Okay, let's not stall here. It took me a moment to understand what was going on with Divine Climb, but let's not get trapped by the conveyor belt. And yeah, needed to kind of slide under the blasters here in order to make it over here with plenty of time to spare, and we'll need to be a lot quicker on that step. Yeah, Terminator, I don't know how often you played music levels that have this kind of vertical structure to them, but they are always incredibly impressive. There is, in fact, a guide that was written on how to construct levels like this, and it is an extremely technical guide that was principally written by General BB, the Dutch maker that many of the people in this community know. But a lot of Japanese and Korean makers kind of collaborated on that as well, and it's an extremely technical document that runs to like 120 pages or something of various timing formulas and other things. And so yeah, it seems like this has been one of the main technical contributions of the Maker 2 community in terms of something that could not have been done in Maker 1, was just that the music tech has become so incredibly advanced in this game. You are supposed to sneak under the blasters in that cycle. Even last time when I was there, I did manage to do that once, and it seemed like it was necessary in order to keep pace. Otherwise, it will get trapped for too long, so definitely a couple of improvements that we can make here. Also, we do have to remember there is a key door at the end, so perhaps that is a reward for good performance. Trying to cut too many corners with a jump here. Luca, you still need to play the levels? Yeah. I do enjoy them. I mean, this has been sitting around for the last 6 weeks or so at least, and so I'm just glad I finally got around to them. Because like I said at the beginning, it's been a long time since I've actually played anybody's Super World, and they really have been piling up on me. Oh no, we're gonna miss this cycle. That's bad news. That's okay. Whoops. Yeah, kind of catching the edge of that block there and wall jumping off instead of getting on top of it cleanly. Luca, we really do need to come up with a lurk command just for you. But that will not happen today, because my hands are a little bit full. Whoops, got a bit stuck. So in terms of this blaster timing, yeah, that is based on my camera position, I think, so. Okay, we'll get that bounce, and then up we go. That's really neat, actually. The vine climb followed by the blaster push. I don't know that I've really seen that before. Where you can sustain your height by just holding up into the climb and just get pushed across quickly like that. I played so much Mario Maker, you would assume that I would have seen pretty much everything like that this game would throw at me, but that little vine curtain effect actually does feel like something new. Terminator, how did I hear about this world? First of all, 4 or 5 of the makers involved in this world were involved in 5 and 6 YMM, so we were kind of connected to them through this community. And RBC, who's kind of the music maestro of a lot of these levels, and I believe made the music track for this level as well, does post in a couple of our adjacent discords, I guess. So this has been something that I'd heard about for some weeks. I also follow Persia, who was the coordinator of this project. Persia, a really popular and excellent Korean maker, who posted a level that was pretty much just a level pointing to the maker code of this super world. So the makers who were involved in the super world were advertising it through their own profiles. And so I was able to hear about it that way. No. We obviously can't go through the bumper. We just needed to activate the platform and go to the top right. But yeah, obviously, Bill Blaster pushes are absolutely everywhere in this game, especially in things like trolls and such. But as a platforming element with a vine curtain, I just hadn't really seen that combined in that way. And that was pretty unique. Oops, got a little bit stuck in there. Let's go back down as soon as we can. We'll probably miss this cycle, unfortunately, on the blaster, but it's not absolutely critical, as we saw last time, as long as I do the thwomp segment here cleanly. And yeah, I believe the shell there is going to be activated by proximity, so let's get pushed. Let's go up slightly and then follow the staircase up to this platform, which is going to... Yeah, it's supposed to take me up. I could have wall jumped out of that and saved it, but I think I am supposed to ride the platform a little bit further. But yeah, Terminator, many of the makers in this project that I do know, I only know a few of them who were involved in this, but they were all worth following. I follow several of the makers who were involved in this. Partly because as makers from South Korea, there are people who, as I said, don't really submit to the English streaming community that often. And so, you know, they're clearly excellent makers, we just don't get to see them featured on video on streams that we watch all that much, so... Yeah, I was definitely a little behind pace over there. And definitely things like the falling shell seem to be activated by proximity, so it is important that we get to certain parts of the level as quickly as possible. In fact, most of the moving parts that we are activating on the way up are from a kind of Mario-activated timing, or a camera-activated timing, whereas it's just the music that's global, and of course the fire bars chasing you all the way down that are on a consistent global timer as well, so you need to move fairly quickly. Yeah, get up here right away for the shell. As you can see, whoa, nope, bounced back a little too much on that bumper. Yeah, previously the bumper was kind of helping me because I was jumping into it, and it was bouncing me back to the ice, but if you run into it head-on, you actually die, because by that point, the fire catches up to the ice. The other nice thing about this mechanic, of course, is that because the ice coins are tied to the coin and block limits, that you just have tons of stuff for this level to interact with, while most of the budget is devoted to the music setup. Now, I don't really make music levels, but as somebody who plays them, you notice very quickly that one of the most challenging things about designing a music level that also functions as a platformer is just having enough budget left over in your level's entity space to have the platforming be interesting. And this level, you'll notice, kind of completely gets around that by making most of the interactive elements things that are not tied to the entity budget. So basically things like the ice coins as well as the vines. And so you've got tons of stuff to interact with on your way up that is not costly at all to place. So most of the elements that are going to count towards your usual limits can be devoted to the music track as well as the firebar chasing you instead. And so yeah, it's a level that I think feels absolutely jam-packed because of that. Okay. Get up here as quickly as we can and just get the push, and then let's just follow this up. And then... Okay, slow down a little bit there because we are reading this part for the first time. Whoops. Now there is a question block that looks optional. That is just past where we took to death. We'll go back there and we'll see what that is all about. Okay, that's going to roll towards me here. It could be the bonus star, but keep in mind that I think it's going to be the key, actually, because of the key door that we were shown in the entry section. And perhaps the key is going to get me to the bonus star. That will no doubt be placed right at the end. So yeah, as we saw earlier, it is possible to first cycle our way under the blasters, but we're not going to get it. That was, once again, I didn't jump very cleanly into that. And we just got bumped. I was trying to pull back and twirl, and I pulled back, I think, a little too soon. And so that method just didn't really work out. Whoops. If you look at the load-in over here too, notice that the firebar that chases you loads in at the right of the screen on the first screen up top. So it kind of drops in alongside Mario, just on the opposite side, on the right. And that's how it's timed. Like, it's loaded in, obviously synchronized with Mario, as soon as you come out of the pipe and make the big descent. And I was looking for that. I was trying to spot like, where the load-in was happening, because that obviously did have to be consistently timed against Mario's entry into the zone. Once again, just missing that jump. And yeah, Terminator, it's amazing what they could fit in this level. That's absolutely true, and like I said earlier, it's just because it's using largely elements that are outside the entity budget for the actual platforming. Even when you see really spectacular global music setups like this, oftentimes you can see that it can be difficult for the makers to really fill the platforming space with enough engaging material to kind of complement the music loop they have going on. I'm still kind of sliding into that. I am jumping, it's just I'm jumping probably late at this point because I am ramming into the bumper. Okay, let's go. Nice short jumps here and there, and we'll continue. I certainly don't mind repeating this level. It's been so spectacular so far. I don't know why I thought I could just roll through that the way I would in 3D World. I was instinctively thinking of the 3D World rolling interaction, even though it totally doesn't work in SMBU. Okay, let's follow this through. We can kick the shell, in fact. That's helpful to note. Oh, I died at the same jump before. I'm just not gauging that well. I should probably just spin jump over the spike instead because of the low ceiling, which I'm clearly not estimating very well. Because that's twice now that that has been the limit of how far I've traversed in this level. And that's okay, we were really kind of blazing through the first world and the first part of World 2 as well, and so I was expecting things to slow down and get a little bit trickier. And yeah, we don't absolutely need to make this cycle since we just be set a little bit behind given the way that the red blasters do come back down. Jumping directly into that was great. Once again, we can run directly into the shell to kick it over. No need to slow down. Okay, let's spin jump over this. And that is absolutely a key. And we actually have lots of time to spare coming out of the exit. Terminator, my understanding is that a number of the makers, not from Korea, but some of the Japanese makers have been invited to official Nintendo showcases in the past. I do know that was the case with at least Megatoro, who is another maker who has done looping music in the past and did that excellent New Donk City level for 5YMM last year. And Elder Word, glad to see you here live. Hope you've been doing well. And, okay, so let's see World 2 Castle. World 2 Castle, I believe, is by Lostin, who is another maker who is new to me. Pet Twister. I'm guessing that the Twister is our pet. We're not going to be twisting a pet. Oh, interesting. It's the cling mechanic. So some of you may remember this from Kjavik's level at the beginning of 4YMM. I've seen it in a Zelda dungeon as well, actually. I think it was by Bone Dog or something. And that was where I was introduced to this Twister and one-way panel mechanic, which apparently only works in SMB 1 and SMB 3. And so we do need to figure out how to drop off of that properly. And yeah, Elder Word, I am playing over the board. It's been difficult to find a good streaming time for Woogles because the main issue is actually that most of my regular opponents at times that I'm able to stream are back to over the board. So I'm still playing on Woogles off stream every now and then, but it's been kind of difficult to find a broadcast time that makes sense. But I'm hoping to bring that back into the rotation, you know, even if it's just random matches in the dead of night or something. Just to fill in a bit more of the Scrabble streaming schedule, rather, which has been, I think, a little bit sparse lately just from a lot of people going back to over the board or being busy with other commitments. Okay, so we do need to run back and catch the Twister as soon as possible. I am a little bit slow on that. And, but yeah, Elder Word, I did play one of the big over-the-board events back in February, and yeah, it's mostly the regular club opponents who have kind of gone from Woogles back to over-the-board for the most part. And also because I've just been absolutely stuffed with stream content lately. We just finished a 100% run of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I am actually leaving that Twister a bit late to begin with. So now I'm doing a little bit better. We'll slide off of that and then get back on. There we are. Then we bounce back on it, and as you can see, I'm a little bit behind because I'm still reading the indications here. Yeah, so if I leave the Twister sooner, pop off of it on the right side rather than the left, and I can get ahead of it a little bit, perhaps. And I think, in fact, that the on-off markers are what I should be watching for that. So we take damage here, we pop back on, and we've got plenty of time to spare. And then, once again, yeah, the conveyor belt's going to line it up. Whoops. And we just need to take off properly to fire the shell. Okay, let's get back here. And yeah, there's a little bit of a wait time if you go there that quickly, but thankfully it's lined up neatly. Now you do need to make that landing fairly accurately. So I'll need to lower the platform by just enough to land between the piranha plants. Okay, back up we go. Yeah, these levels are not too bad actually compared to a lot of the ones that are very commonplace on Twitch. This is relatively easygoing. In terms of the actual technical requirement, you just need, you know, good timing with standard Mario interactions, whereas a lot of the tougher Kaizo grade levels require you very often to be doing types of button presses that you are just never trained to do in other video game, and so that's the stuff that tends to be much more troublesome. But yeah, a lot of it is just being able to read on the fly what's going to happen with often some very complex interactions, like, for example, the icicle that's kind of buried below the stumps that we were standing on just now. And so sometimes it takes me a few tries to watch what is going to happen, and so in doing so, predict what the next movement is going to be. Yeah, because the icicle drops, and then as does the stump, and then we need to kind of do those two jumps over there to get back up onto the twister. And then, oh, I was actually a little bit ahead of it that time. After that is going to be a drop onto the moles, and it's going to be short bounces onto moles. Going to the right, as we can see from the low ceiling in the bottom right corner. So yeah, we'll drop off here. And didn't have quite enough momentum, so we do need to hold right into that drop. So yeah, the whole interaction here is initiated by the player in terms of the initial jump there, releasing the twister using the bomb, and so it's timed according to the initial interactions. You don't really need to be in a rush to start this right away, but as soon as you go, you have to go. Okay, let's pop this and go back up. Whoops. And yeah, that's a really neat interaction, actually, because it's the icicle in the background that breaks the brick that stumps are standing on. So it looks like the stumps have this illusion of being a timed falling platform. When what's happening is that the icicle that you step on initially is the thing that's activating the brake. So that's very clever in terms of using the overlap to make that look clean. We need to watch our momentum here with the thwops. The coins are fairly well indicated there. It was very clear that I needed to jump over 2 thwomps. I just did it very poorly. But yeah, this sequence of levels, this Super Korean world, actually started out pretty easygoing. The first few levels are fairly quick and accessible. But now we're getting into the part of this project that is a bit more elaborate. Whoops. And let's drop back down. And up we go. Now let's watch our step here with Wumps, as well as our head under the icicle. Then here, I just need to pop up into the pipe. You might have been able to match my play about 30 years ago. Actually, I feel like I'm a much better player now than I was in childhood. I mean, partly it's because I play enough Mario Maker that the content has been pushing me. Certainly I've improved a lot even from the time since I started streaming. There's a lot of stuff that I felt was completely beyond me and completely impossible, say a year or two ago, that I've been able to conquer since with just a little bit of patience. I mean, I'm definitely not high on the technical side when it comes to the standards of the streaming community in this game, but we make do with what we can. And thank you for the GG. Let's get into World 3. It's going to be Circus World in the Sky here with Burning Ice. By Doyose, or I don't know how to pronounce it, D-O-Y-O-S-E, who is, again, one of the makers who is new to me, since I'm only acquainted with a few of the ones in this project. So this is using the kind of synchronization mechanic. Oh, whoops. We've seen a similar level before from, I believe, Mr. Electrodude, who usually comes here during more EU-friendly hours, and was also one of the people really kind of hyping up this world as well. So when he plays this, it's going to be a real pleasure for him in particular. So the idea behind this is that the descending lava at this auto-scroll speed, as well as the blocks that are kind of loaded in initially from the tracks, have this match speed that makes it look as though the blocks are floating. Ice on lava, which is going to be fun to think about from a thermodynamic perspective. And yeah, so it creates this illusion of being a floating crate level, except in this case with the ice mechanic, it also gives the level the flexibility to destroy a lot of these blocks at will using fire, which is something that we're seeing on the way down. So everything kind of falls apart gradually as we go, and we do need to follow the arrows here to predict where the safety zones are going to be. And then, oh, no, there are optional coins. We will be going for optional content whenever possible. So let's redo that. Now I'm thinking back to the previous level where we actually did find anything optional at the end. I feel like I might have skipped the secret at the, or bonus at the end of the previous one with the twister. Because I don't think we saw something like a star at the end, but maybe my memory of that is failing me already. So let's head back down. But yeah, a lot of what kind of makes up for mechanical skill in this game is also just understanding how the parts are going to interact, from just a lot of experience, you know, experimenting around with the editor as well, and building your own stuff, whether you publish it or not. And in my case, also doing a lot of the logic puzzle style levels. Because that helps you read everything very cleanly on the fly and kind of predict how things are going to go, even if the mechanical execution still remains fairly challenging. And yeah, when I feel like going for 100% is within reach, I like to do it. It's something that the structure of how people discover levels in Mario Maker doesn't really incentivize well. Because in some ways the kind of whole culture of Mario Maker is very much about just doing the clear, and often people don't particularly feel motivated to pursue any optional content because often the rewards are not very tangible or don't particularly matter. And so it's sort of unfortunate because the makers who kind of like to emulate the Nintendo style of design, like Nintendo, always like to think about putting in interesting secrets and optional paths and so on. And that's something that Mario Maker unfortunately kind of structurally discourages sometimes for a number of reasons. We just completely missed a switch there. Clearly we need to hit the switch and then get on the right platform as soon as possible. Yeah, and so when I'm manually queuing up levels from the community, I do try to show off the optional content as often as I can. If it's within my ability, of course. Okay, let's get over here. And yeah, I keep hitting that ceiling. We obviously need to get onto Bones a little bit further to the left. And we've made that mistake several times over already. It's not even the saw that's the problem, it's actually the ceiling. That I never really managed to predict where I'm going to bump my head, and I'm bumping my head currently a little too far to the right, and it's dunking me. And so just timing the entry there, and landing on the Bones at the appropriate angle is going to be the key. Yeah, there we go. There's plenty of room. We just need to not overshoot. And here we prepare to grab the pink coin, and then we head straight back down. And then we prepare now for the on-off switches. And we get there quickly, with plenty of time to spare before we get trapped. Let's just recover to the center. That is the first segment out of the way, plus a checkpoint. Look at that. This is a nice little illusion there where you're actually still safe on that platform. And then, whoops. Didn't read that descent accurately, but now it's clear what to do. And yeah, you do need to hit the P switch, otherwise you do get trapped by the P blocks at the end of that segment. Okay, now we get straight back down. And then it was obviously telling me to go left, but I didn't quite know what my spacing was going to be there, so you do need to kind of trust the marker there and jump into the abyss. Whoops. Too far off center. Yeah, you kind of need to line yourself there. And then we'll jump into this, and then once again, just not really aiming well relative to the auto-scrolling camera. And yeah, it was going so well. That's something I find myself saying far too often. I don't know why I keep underestimating that jump. Everything is strongly encouraging me to make it over that corner. But there is some reason that I just have a habit of kind of hedging there. And so yeah, we do need to get into that safe zone because the ice momentarily dips a little bit too low. Then off switch, okay, good catch over there. Now we just need to get in position for whatever is on this side. Okay, 3 coins down so far. The 4th coin was probably just going to be right over the door at the end as the safety, to prevent any checkpoint shenanigans. And there we go. Might as well drop onto the axe from above. Alright, thank you for the GGs, let's continue. Yoshi's Island. Now this level is by R, who is new to me as well, but who I understand is actually a puzzle specialist. And so we're going to have our first one-screen puzzle of the day, which is fantastic. It'll be kind of a nice break from a lot of the jumping we've seen so far. Okay, so first of all, let's see what the exit condition is going to be. It's going to be melting the ice blocks in the top right corner along with a timed activation of the P switch that's going to open up the P door. This looks like it's going to be a side swap that is going to activate the on-off switches if we jump into position. And then now we need to figure out what we need the red Yoshi egg for. Currently, we're already at the 2 Yoshi limit on the screen. So if the red egg drops, it's not actually going to give me red Yoshi because we already have 2 Yoshis available. So we need to kill the Yoshi in the bottom right by activating the on-off switch and dropping it into the poison. Then we grab the Yoshi that is in the top left, and that allows me to break open the ice. The POW releases... actually no, there are 2 Yoshi eggs here. There's a green Yoshi egg. Whoops, that was a mistake. There's a green Yoshi egg and, let's keep reading this, a red Yoshi egg. And we need to kill both Yoshis that are already on the screen. So the POW actually takes care of the other one. So the order is going to be this. Kill green Yoshi. Grab red Yoshi. Grab the POW. Kill the bottom left red Yoshi. And then we are going to... Yes, I see it. So, and then we're going to use the red Yoshi up top to break open the ice, and we use the green Yoshi that we grabbed from this claw to drop onto the conveyor belt, which is then going to drop onto the P. The P switch is going to activate, and then we enter the door, so let's do it. The only thing that I haven't figured out here is the bomb up here. I don't know what the bomb activation is going to be, or how that's going to work. So, we'll look at it. You came in late, but a set of games here if you have the spare mental power. What is this collection? You mean the collection of the levels that we're playing today? Because it is in the stream title for those of you who have Super Mario Maker 2 available. And so, yeah, this is a collaboration of 20 levels made by people in the South Korean maker community. So they all put together this single super world that is accessible with the code that I have, which is what I'm going to punch in here. Yes, so Super Korean World. And so we're acquainted with a couple of the makers here from previous projects that was shown off on stream and partaken in. But yeah, that's going to drop, so we activate this Yoshi now. We then break open the ice. We then get out of here. Yeah, I see the step I was missing. I need to reactivate the on-off switch in order to drop the next Yoshi down here. Also notice that we need to reactivate the on-off switch in order to get the other red Yoshi back into position for the Muncher Crush. So the next step has to be blowing up this bomb, and the way that we're going to do it is going to be probably through using poison. Notice that the poison sheeps are available, and that if we have a green Yoshi available to capture a poison sheep, then it's going to do a 3-way spray that allows me to grab the bomb up top. The problem right now is we already have 2 red Yoshis on the field, so this is probably going to break open and give me nothing. And we don't have a reset door available, so I need to figure out a way to get rid of this Yoshi. And also we can't activate the POW yet because it will destroy the bomb completely. So currently that's our problem. That we need to figure out how to destroy this guy. And yeah, not too familiar with Mario Maker, that's okay. I do try to make this comprehensible to people who are not necessarily active players. But yeah, the essence of this is that this was a set of 20 levels that was recently put together by a whole bunch of people from the South Korean scene. And that's pretty much all you need to know to grasp what's going on here. So yeah, we cannot activate the power yet, but we do need to get rid of this Yoshi, and so that's the missing step right now. It looks like these are the regular yellow blocks that we're standing on, and that if we have the activation of the P-switch in some form, then we're able to maybe drop something through here. Except we can't activate the P-switch twice, and we do need the P-switch to be active in order to go through this door, so let's start over because we are clearly missing one step. Yeah, so before we activate the bomb then, let's think about what's going to happen here. I think I know. Well, in order to grab the first green Yoshi here, we do need to kill the other green Yoshi, and that already activates the bomb. And yeah, we don't need to drop green Yoshi. Through the middle here. We're going to drop the red Yoshi through, in fact. So which means that before we activate this egg, we're going to try to capture one of these. And then I'm going to get in position to ignite the bomb, which is going to require a slightly better position here. Hang on. Let's watch this carefully. Let's let it run over to the left side first. All the way to the left side, perhaps. Yeah, so the essence of this level is that it depends on understanding that there is a limit to how many Yoshis can be on the field at a given time. There can only be 2 Yoshis loaded before the eggs start breaking without giving you anything. And that's just a very specific quirk of the editor that one needs to be aware of when doing this. So now we need to kill this Yoshi, which we can do if we swallow the egg, actually. We don't need to kill the Yoshi, in fact. We need to kill the red Yoshi first, and then we spit out the egg to grab the other red Yoshi. So now we can spit out the egg. No, bad idea. That was not where I wanted to go. Yeah, no, I wanted to spit it out in a location where I could actually mount it and blow up the ice on the top right. So we have the correct order, we have the solution. I just made a minor execution mistake at the very end. So yeah, we kill this one. And, oh, whoops. Did I kill it to... No, I got the egg a little too soon. We need to make sure the other Yoshi is good and dead first. And yeah, this is very much the puzzle-solving experience for me. I see the solution and then often spend like 20 or 30 minutes just cleaning up the mistakes. So yeah, we need that Yoshi to be well off screen, dying in the poison. Then we spawn the poison sheep. Grab that, get it in range, ignite the bomb. Swallow the egg. Kill this Yoshi. Spit this out safely for once. Then... So, interestingly enough, this is one of the only levels I've ever seen use an extremely specific rule in the poison theme, which is that Yoshi, green Yoshi can swallow the cheeps, and the cheeps, when you spit the poison, they can ignite the bomb, but it can't melt the ice. Because swallowing a poison cheep and swallowing a fire cheep in the lava theme are subtly different in terms of what the poison can interact with and what the fire can interact with. And this has actually been a concept that I've wanted to make work in my own creations for a very long time. I could never find a good use for it. And so I'm actually very happy to finally see it in action. Oh, I was supposed to grab the coins first. We messed up again. So we can kind of see this interaction again because it's actually lots of fun. I'll show you about... Yeah, not only a lot of thought that goes into these levels, but definitely a lot of playtesting from people who try to break them open in some very creative ways. But yeah, logic puzzles like this are one of my favorite things about Mario Maker, as a lot of my longtime viewers know. So I'll show you. So you spit this to the right. Poison does not melt ice. But poison, for some reason, it does ignite bombs. And so, we're going to do that once again. Yeah, I've always wanted to see a level that used that well. So, okay, we're not going to mess up this time. We need to, first of all, grab the coins before proceeding. Or rather, we need to melt the ice and then grab the coins. Let's be absolutely sure of the order here. And yeah, we need to not dunk anything below until that has happened. We need to find a better place to do this. Hang on. Let's do it here. Dismount. Grab these. And we'll go back down. Yeah, the poison is a function of the fish that's being eaten. So when Yoshi eats one of these, then he does a triple spit of the poison. If you play in the lava theme, when the Cheep Cheeps touch the lava, they become flaming fish, like they do in the standard Mario games. And the flaming fish work like other fire-based projectiles too. So in the lava theme, they would melt the ice. In the poison theme that you see here, they do not. Anyway, we'll drop this, and that should give me the door. I wonder if there's a bonus for carrying a Yoshi through at the end, actually. But perhaps not. Yeah. No, nothing at the end, so we'll just grab clear and get out. And yeah, a lot of these rule sets and mechanical interactions are pretty unique to Mario Maker, and were not actually part of the original games, or were implemented in the original games in a slightly different way. So there's an optional branch here between the castle and this level. We are going to do the optional content, obviously, which is going to unlock the pipe that gives me all those bonus rooms. Also notice that frog that's having the time of its life in the top right. Now, this is a hard mode version, which is reach the goal while riding Yoshi, and we actually know how to do that, if the puzzle is otherwise the same. So this is just a hard mode objective. It's literally the same level. We know how to do it. I don't see any mechanical differences, and we do know how to keep Yoshi at the end, so... But there is a potential problem, which is how do you get Yoshi over here so we can ride him over? So maybe this is not as trivial as we thought, because we do need a way to transport a Yoshi over here, probably by way of something like a spit interaction. That could be challenging now. It may not be as simple as I am suggesting. Oh, whoops, no, that was a mistake. However, I already do see a potential avenue for doing this. I think we need to get, eventually, the red Yoshi over to that side in the first place. So when we get the egg, we're going to spit it over here and see if we can bounce it over, perhaps. Let's start over, because then we place red Yoshi in the top right to begin with. And that might be the key. Sometimes these simple twists can actually make the solution significantly more difficult. in ways that we haven't anticipated yet, so let's not count our Yoshis before they've hatched. I'm also looking at this and thinking, like, is there a way to do kind of a self-damage interaction here? Because one way that you could potentially make a Yoshi go over to the other side is by taking damage in this location. So, for example, if you ignite the bomb right here on the corner, and you stand here and you take damage and let Yoshi run over to the right side, that's another potential way to do it. But that would require me to ignite the bomb in a position that would bring me within range. And I don't know if we will get that just yet, so we'll see. Because given the slope setup on this side, that's one thing that immediately comes to mind, is whether we can just take damage here. So for example, if I stand here, and then ignite the bomb from this position, then can we get within range to take a hit? Yes, we can. And that's the answer. Except I no longer... Oh no, I needed to swallow the egg first. Yeah, I needed to swallow the egg first because now we don't have a way to preserve Red Yoshi on the way over. Okay, we're mostly to the solution. I just needed to change one thing. Yeah, no, I have a very small timing window to swallow the red egg using Green Yoshi. B-Minutes, welcome. B-Minutes, I saw that you were doing some triangulation earlier. I hope that's been going well for you. However far along you may be. So I do understand this. We need to grab this. We'll go all the way over here. We'll ignite the bomb as far to the right as possible. There we go. And then we're going to crush Red Yoshi over here. Then we get a spit. And then we drop with one of the Yoshis to do the P-switch. I'm gonna nudge that. Oh, this is a problem. There we go. We'll just slip in. Grab Yoshi and go. You had sync issues, but you figured out why. Oh hey, we'll even get a little bonus at the end if we wait for the P-switch to expire. Let's see it. Ah, we'll get a bonus music track. And it is going to be, of course, the start screen theme to Yoshi's Island. Hence the title of the level, Yoshi's Island. Has a little backbeat to it too, which is nice. Yoshi! Yeah, very lovely bonus room. And we're going to pop that over here. Yeah, nice little hard mode solution there. Required a little bit more thought than I accounted for at first, but once we saw it, we saw it. The interaction of deliberately taking damage to Yoshi is one that does elude people if you haven't done a lot of puzzles in this style before, so that was a clever way to embellish the original order of events. And yeah, B-Minutes, I've been thinking about that frog too. For all the Super Worlds I've played, I've rarely seen that used as part of the background decoration. And Elder Word, yeah, so Elder Word, the first Mario Maker game in particular was heavily inspired by Mario Paint and was designed in many ways to be a Mario Paint spiritual sequel. There are a lot of returning elements from Mario Paint in the Mario Maker game. So if you look at a dog that's by the frog in the top right, and which you can occasionally see riding a rocket in the background as well. That's the undo dog from the original Mario Paint. A couple of the sound effects are directly from Mario Paint, and the reset button that wipes the entire screen when you're building a level is the rocket which is another callback to that game. The first Mario Maker also had the Fly Swatter minigame from Mario Paint, but that is no longer in Mario Maker 2. So some of the Mario Paint flavor has been dialed back a little bit in Mario Maker 2. It was very prevalent in Mario Maker 1. Okay, battle with Ludwig. Let's have boss to break up some of the puzzling we did earlier. Oh, that's interesting. Nice little loading zone here. So this is by Persia, the lead coordinator of this project, who is also kind of a master of thematic storytelling levels in some ways. So we're trapped in a cage and we have to escape after we dodge some projectiles that seem to be applied here as an instrument of torture. I wonder what the point of the helmet plus damage before the checkpoint is. I think maybe it is there to hedge against some edge case in the opening interaction, perhaps. Like something that shields you from bomb damage if you're nudged against a bomb. I'm not sure exactly what the damage check is for, but it's got to have something to do with how the opening is set up to keep the player safe from anything unexpected. So yeah, we are going to be pretty tightly confined to this cage here. We'll need to work our way around that. I'm standing a little too close to the edge the whole time. I should actually be a little bit more centered. And possibly just gotta stop here between the projectiles, instead of thinking that I can outpace them. So yeah, if you stand in a more central projection, in a more central position, then the projection of the missiles is going to face in the other direction, and that's actually the solution to this. That at certain places, I definitely want them to shoot left instead of right, so I have enough room to continue. And so if I mostly stand on the left half and then kind of complete my motions going towards the right, that's actually a much more comfortable way to stand. In terms of having some room for movement. Anyway, he's going to say something to me. He's going to make an evil face, perhaps. He's going to express his evil intent. And that's his evil intent, to make everything go faster, apparently. Okay, let's do this. And then, whoops. Yeah, the down arrows were making me think that I should duck there, but I did need to cross the vines a little faster if I'm going to do things that way. Actually, no, the arrows are telling me where his projectiles are coming in, so that was actually a warning for a spot where a single Podoboo was going to descend and try to hit me from above. And I did see it that time, so we actually want to avoid the arrows, because the arrows are the cues for how he's going to try to attack. Which takes a moment to adjust to, because obviously with many other levels, often arrows are kind of used as a cue for where you are supposed to go, rather than where projectiles are expected, so it just takes a moment to kind of adapt to the rules of this level internally. So you let the fire come down, you kind of get to the right side of the vines, and then just kind of hang back a little bit in these areas. Whoa, okay. The plant is going to stay in the cage. Loop and Snoop, welcome. And indeed, in America, it is as o'clock. So yeah, Loop and Snoop, don't know if you've had a chance to play this Super World yet. It's been quite a treat so far. guess off to a very easy and breezy start, but then the mechanics, as you would expect from many of these makers, do get much more elaborate as we go, so... Okay. Oh, I like the way that the piranha plant actually leaves the box. That's kind of a nice use of that semi-solid there as the walls on the other side allow it to pass. I guess that's the advantage of using pokies as the walls on the other side, apart from the fact that they take a very little budget. They do allow the various enemy elements to pass through. And yeah, Lupin's Noob, this is obviously my first time with the Super World as well. It has been up for the past several weeks. And we're breezing through it pretty quickly, so assuming that... so it's 5 worlds of 4 levels each, I think, and we're just about finished with World 3. And so, assuming that we kind of remain at a current pace, it should be doable in one stream. Whoops. The parachute throws me off every time. And yeah, Elderword, I do have you on my list on Woogles, so I'll definitely see you around. And do send me a match if you do see me on. I will often be up for one. And then Ludwig is going to go up. And that's going to be it, actually. So, I mean, very budget-heavy interaction there. So we'll pop in and grab that. And thank you for the GGs. So that's it for Ludwig's attempt to trap us in a cage. And yeah, Lupin's Noob, how about that frog that's on the world map there? That's quite something. Okay, let's get into World 4. 4-1 is by Android D, who is one of the other makers that I don't know. It's Dolphins in a River, which may or may not have some relation to the dolphins back in Vanilla Secret. Probably not, given that we're actually going to be swimming in the water, or oh, maybe not. We'll see. Obviously, we do need to maintain height here as we swim a little bit better. The 10 coin up top looks totally inaccessible. I think that's supposed to be some kind of shape. Perhaps that's supposed to be a dolphin. But I can't quite tell. And so yeah, this is going to be the blaster push with the vine that we were actually just talking about in an earlier level. In the music level that we had seen in the previous world. Oops. Yeah, because I was just saying that I had often not really seen the Bill Blaster push and Divine Curtain combined, even though it's a very natural thing to do. But we've actually seen it twice now in this Super World, from 2 different makers. Okay. And then we'll pop over. And yeah, I don't want to hop out prematurely, obviously, because then we'll sink a little bit too long before I get back up to the surface. Oops. But we'll muddle through it. And here we are. So yeah, I just need to be careful about when I decide to pop out of the water. It's something I should be reluctant to do, except in the circumstances where it's absolutely necessary to avoid something like being crushed. Okay, in we go. Whoops, I did not mean to climb that. That was maybe a bit of a bad habit there, pointing up out of the jump that we did immediately prior to that vine. And landed a little poorly out of the jump out of the water that we just did, so a couple of corrections worth making here as we proceed. Okay. And we'll just once again make the same mistake there. We do not want to jump out of the water over the low pokey. At that point, we have plenty of warning that there will be a jump that's required immediately after that, and so I think I did have plenty of information to go on to let me know that that was the wrong thing to do. And let's continue. Not quite. Okay. Let's go up. And, oh, okay, didn't expect to actually pop it that time, but we'll take it. That was nearly a save, but not quite. Yeah, to some extent, there are places where it makes sense to hold up coming out of a jump, because even if you do cling onto the vine, that actually lets you get into position, and then the blaster will push you out of that onto the next platform. And so there are some places where that's going to be advantageous if we're trying to adjust our positioning and kind of fall gently into a platform that's immediately afterwards, as we saw with some of the platform placements at the extent of our progression just now. But there are, of course, certain places where that's going to be a bit of a trap, like this one right here. Since it's right before a wall, we do not want to be doing a vine climb by accident, since we already saw the kind of damage that we can experience from that, at least once. But yeah, often holding up into some of these jumps is not going to be too bad. Okay. Yeah, in that position, for example, I mean, I would want to drop into the water right away so I can get a jump, I think, because if we cling onto the vine, maybe we're going to be dropped on top of that next pokey, and there's nothing I can do about it. So we'll have to take a look at that and adjust accordingly. Some of these falling icicles lag so far behind the player that they're mostly just there to scare you, I think. Let's continue. Okay, we're going to drop in here. And now, whoops. Yeah, the little dip that I made past the arrow, where I peeked my head above the water, that was not wise. That kind of spoiled that whole attempt. We'll go back and fix it. And yeah, the blaster is always going to get crushed in that pokey because of the way that it's lodged between the spike blocks at the bottom, holding it in place. It's just that on one of the previous attempts it looked like I was jumping on the pokey. That was actually just a conveniently timed blaster crush, so... Whoop. Once again, really do have to be careful with the tapping. We're down to 27 lives. Maybe we should have grabbed some of the bonus rooms, given how careless I'm becoming with some of these later creations. One thing that you often don't think about if you're not playing either Super Worlds or Endless is just how many lives you burn through sometimes when playing through the level. Definitely, if I'm streaming something like viewer levels, it's something that you just become totally complacent about because of all the low clear rate stuff that people are putting in all the time, with lots and lots of depth. But yeah, here we might actually have to be conscious of that, because of the way the pool is rapidly depleting after having skipped all of those bonus rooms in the previous world after unlocking the pathway there with the optional hard mode puzzle. Okay, there we go. Yeah, a slightly bigger jump there would have done the trick. But yeah, definitely just a couple of nuances here that we need to work on in order to peak above the waterline at the right moments. Okay, back down we go. And up. And, yeah, it was a little bit early on that, I think. It bumped my head onto the ceiling. But the way that the blaster is overlapping with everything else, I believe it's something like a clown car push that's doing it. I'm not entirely certain. I think it must be, given that that's usually the way that these two-layer interactions are set up, with blaster sitting separately over the main space. Anyway, let's... Whoops. Since everything is being regulated by an auto-scroll, all of the things like the bonsai bills are going to come in pretty predictable times and places. We just need to swim a lot better than what I've been demonstrating here so far. Now, where are these dolphins I was promised? Yeah, it looks like definitely the cover art there is supposed to be a dolphin where its head is on the right side, and that does appear to be the intended design. Okay. There we go, that's not too bad. Okay, now we have rising and falling water, which we will need to be aware of. Yeah, I should just stay reasonably close to the surface, such that I have as much flexibility as I can manage. Yeah, did kind of need to use Divines there to get across, as well as the big vine wall we saw just now as well. Okay, just didn't do that turn very well. Obviously, I had plenty of time to read that pokey coming and adjust the water level accordingly, but in general, we could be doing that a lot better. Hitting the bonsai is just fine, doesn't really affect anything if we do. Yeah, definitely need Divine Climb out of that, I think. Then we'll go low and then high right away without actually crossing over. Looks like we can actually jump across the gold to the other side. I don't know if there's any particular advantage to doing so. But given how many lives would burn on this level alone, I think I should definitely look into the 1-ups at the end. But notice that the level is fairly generous about just placing a 1-up mushroom directly at checkpoint. That's been the case with a couple of the levels that we've seen here so far, in fact. Just as a gentle way to keep people playing in a way that only applies to the Super World, but you get an unlimited number of 1-ups. That would not be the case in Endless, where you're just limited to 3 attempts that would bolster. Okay. Anything over here? No, it didn't look like it. So yeah, it was really just that one dolphin in the river at the very start. But I suppose that counts. I do miss the dolphins in Super Mario World. I feel like they're a very unique element for future consideration in the Maker series. Okay, let's see what's next. Caramel Dance, and this is going to be another musical spectacular. Once again by RBC. And it's going to tell me to run. Oh yes, invisible blocks there that I need to hit to block that off. I see. I was trying to determine if this is going to work like a rhythm game like the previous speedrun style music level that we saw from RBC earlier in the Super World, which was also visually kind of busy, but was much more approachable once you understood that it was effectively a rhythm game. Yeah, so I need to hold the spin jump into that. Okay, I completely flubbed that. Yeah, some things are on the beat. But it's kind of like you're jumping on an offbeat, in fact. Yeah, you kind of need to jump on the end of the beat, so to speak. Basically, you need to play this like a rock drummer. And I'm a little early going into that spin every time. So that's going to be a little correction that we should make. It's supposed to be the NSMB triple jump. That's what it is. That's why I'm not making that height there. It's because I'm not thinking about it like a triple jump. There we go. Amazing that this is set up in such a way that as a music level, the POW hit still doesn't break anything. Triple jump again, and then spin. Yeah, the thing about the triple jump mechanic in the new Soup theme is that it does often seem like it needs to be kind of very deliberately set up and directly coached to actually be useful, and so it's most often in things like speedrun style levels that you're going to see it in a controlled circumstance. And once again, yeah, we need to fall directly into everything, and that's what the right arrows are encouraging me to do, just bopping on one Koopaling to the next. Still a little late on that spin. And yeah, Terminator, a lot of these levels have been pretty generous about lives at checkpoint. And I was trying to hold in that spin jump, but I'm actually a little bit early going into that. Okay. Not quite. I was a little off in that triple jump, but thankfully we made it. Yeah, I don't want to hold into that. I'm discouraged from doing so. It is still a little bit of a habit. Especially because there are just so many markers on this. And we all know how I'm like about actually reading instructions. Not my strong suit. Once you grasp how the interactions line up with the music, though, it's very satisfying to do. How many worlds are there? Terminator, I believe it's 5 worlds of 4 levels each. So we're currently in the middle of World 4. And so we're most of the way there. And if we finish early today with time to spare, I'll definitely do some other levels beyond that, because I'm able to stay a little bit longer today, I think. So it depends on how the later and harder levels go, of course. And we'll see whether that makes sense. Can't make any promises yet. Anyway, this looks like it's a bit of an optional branch to the side before we hit the castle, with lots of bonuses after that, so I'm expecting a hard mode of some sort on this airship. Shipwreck in Hardrain. This one is by Shushiro, I believe. Or no, this one's by Lunar, I think. Or... I'm actually not sure, because I had some numbers written down and I didn't actually get the level titles down when it comes to which makers made what. We can check the credits afterwards, of course. Checkpoint over here with more 1-ups. Yeah, we might as well take it before we proceed. Terminator, of the mechanics used in your levels, which stood out to me the most? The one I remember most vividly, Terminator, is the shell ride that was on the wave. Which is actually a combination of two very relatively commonly used mechanics that I had seen before your levels, but that was the first time I had seen somebody put the two of them together. And of course it's something that required a little bit of practice to ride accurately, but that's the first one that comes to mind. I mean, some of the living on the edge sword-slapping ideas were increasingly elaborate as well. I remember, you know, I think it was the Ludwig boss fight that you showed me or something that had a lot of really interesting ideas going on. Okay, mole on the left side. I'm sure I can come up with a better answer when I'm not also simultaneously playing this level, but that's just the first answer that pops into my head. First and second. So you're kind of encouraged to get a 10 coin. Yeah, I have to get on the mole first and then bounce back down. But then what's going to hit the off switch? I don't know what's going to activate that. We'll see. Whoops. Ah, yes, okay. There's an on-off switch in that top left corner there that I think we had previously failed to hit, because that's what brings me down to the mole. We do have to hit that. Yeah, because we have to bounce on the mole, and the mole gets me up to the switch. And then you fall back down on the platform with the gate open. Electrodude, welcome. Electrodude, I was just mentioning one of your levels earlier, because I don't know if you've played this yet. And I don't want to spoil too much for you if you haven't played Korean World yet, but there is a falling blocks on lava level. That's all I'll say. There is one level that's in that style, and of course, that immediately made me think back to at least one other time that we had seen that mechanic. But yeah, you haven't played these yet. Lots to look forward to. I'm a little bit slow here, missed a switch, unfortunately. I do need to open that gate in order to get the trampoline into position. Yeah, we're pretty far along at this point. I'm on a bonus level in World 4 out of 5. So we're making good progress, and it will still be quite a lot for you to discover if you haven't... Whoops. Yeah, okay, so I need to jump and then release when I jump. I see what I was doing wrong there. It was one particular ground column near the right side wall that I hadn't properly visualized. And yeah, Electrodude, if you need to hop out for spoiler purposes, that's perfectly fine. Since I'm actually ahead of you for once, whereas you were ahead of me the whole way on Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Oh, nope, still a little bit too slow on that jump. Okay, let's grab that. And yeah, grab this. And I need to not bump my head on the ceiling. Part of the issue there was, in fact, letting up in a jump as well. After all this Mario Maker, I still don't really have that in muscle memory, letting go of an item while maintaining a jump. Even though that's pretty standard by most sort of Kaizo or Kaizo-like expectations. Am I intentionally not grabbing the 1-up? I don't think I was paying attention to the 1-up, actually. I mean, I'm a little tight on some of these corners right now. Oh, you mean the 1-ups at the very beginning? Yeah, I'm not going to bother running around for that past checkpoint when I'm trying to beat the level, I think. If I start running a bit low, if you're talking about the 1-ups on either side early on, I'm not going to go back for them every time. No, of course not. I mean, that would give you a net gain in lives, but too much running around. I'd rather just play the level. Also, because that's just kind of a habit of mainly playing in circumstances where lives don't matter, that I honestly wasn't really thinking about it that hard. But just diving straight back into the level right away, just so we can get back into the action without much fuss. Okay, no. This jump here, I really do need to make a lot better, and part of it is going to be determining where to let go of the spring while maintaining an accurate jump over to the other side. And I'm also dealing with low gravity while I'm doing that, right? Which is, I think, one of the things throwing me off slightly. But I'm not thinking about this as a low gravity jump. And I don't want to do an up throw there either. That was just a bad diagonal on my D-pad. I'm obviously trying to throw forward, not up. But that was just poor control. Okay, here we go. And trying to cut a few too many corners here. Also, the chain chomp chains kind of scattering everywhere all over the screen. I think I was slightly distracted. Because those chain chomps do take a while to die, don't they, when you're also following their animation on your way off screen. Yeah, because they come apart in these fragments that descend along with you as you're progressing through the level, so the whole time you're also following along with the chain chomp death animations all the way down. Nope. That was once again a bad throw. I don't know why I'm doing the up throw there. That was... Oh, I think I know why. It's because I'm kind of reversing direction quickly there and just not pressing accurately. Yeah, I know how to fix this. We just need to actually fix it. No, in fact, it's because I'm releasing early enough that even with a forward throw, the object is hitting the ceiling. And that's what the problem is, that I need to keep in mind that this is low gravity and figure out what the throwing location is going to be. Yeah, that was correct, except I accidentally picked it up afterwards in the middle of the jump, so... Understanding how to throw that is currently the main issue. And as you can see, the accidental up throws are happening pretty frequently here, so let's just be mindful of that. I think I just have a tendency to tilt upwards when I'm changing directions quickly. I'm not even using the Pro Controller, which is known to have a big problem with that, with back and forth interactions kind of activating up, which is a nightmare in Tetris, because in Tetris it does the fast drop when you don't want to. But yeah, no, I have to throw maybe right away and follow the object, but then I'd pick it up again. Maybe I need to get on the left platform first and then throw. And then jump. I just haven't found a right throwing position yet. I mean, maybe we should take the arrows as guidance, but I'm not quite clear. Samuel, welcome. Hope you've been doing well. Oh, nope, too low. You just beat this last week, excellent. You're maybe the first person who has dropped by today who has already finished this. We've had a couple of regular viewers who came in and said, oh yeah, I have to play this, and ran off to play this. So I'm glad it's a reminder to everybody else that this Super World has been out and available for a couple of weeks now. I still don't have a good position for this. We're totally going to exhaust our bank of lives and probably hit our first game over, unless I run around to grab the 1-ups, but I'm not particularly motivated to run around and grab the 1-ups, so we'll just continue from here. Yeah, because I'm trying not to grab the spring. I mean, that throw obviously would get it in position, but then we would kind of need to lag a bit behind the trampoline in order to jump over without picking it up. So, still need to find that. Nope, that's bad. Yeah, I've been having a great time with this so far. It's been one very unique creation after another. As we would expect from a lot of the makers here, at least the ones that I was acquainted with. I think I knew maybe about a third of the people involved in this from previous experience, but a lot of makers were also new to me, so... Yeah, this throw here. I do have plenty of time to throw and then jump, but maybe not, because there's a limited amount of time to land on the left side. I think I just need to jump and do a close throw. And so I've just been consistently throwing too early, perhaps. Okay. And yeah, because of low gravity, it just takes forever to drop down if I was throwing it that late. Maybe it's supposed to be a drop. I don't know. I guess a drop would make a little bit more sense, because then it's not doing that massive wall slide on the left side. I don't know. Just don't have that worked out yet. We're likely to take a game over now. Yeah, I don't care too much about grabbing the 1-ups. I mean, we would just need to return to this early section here, but not a big deal. You know what? We'll just take it that way. And lose. So, yeah, just hitting that in midair instead of waiting for it to drop into the box. I don't mind if you give me a suggestion. I mean, I've been trying a couple of different positions on the trampoline here. Because part of the issue is that I was re-catching it. Or accidentally up throwing. So there have been a couple of mistakes going on here. Let's grab some 1-ups. Yeah. Checkpoint is right at the beginning of the level, so it's not like we're going to lose progress, even if we do get ejected. But yeah, there are definitely a couple of locations here where it's a good idea to hold jump on your way down. To just manage your descents a little bit better. Nope, too soon on that. That was the right idea. Even if the trampoline was going to fall a little bit low, let's grab more lives. And sure, we'll grab this one too. Hey, accurate for once. No, spin jump. That was obviously supposed to be a spin jump. Just kind of reacted poorly to that, given that that was our first success getting to that point. That's how a lot of deaths happen in this game, just surprised at being able to do something accurately for once. Oh, interesting that there were the doors at the bottom there. Also, yeah, there's a key interaction at checkpoint. That's interesting. So we did miss something in that bottom segment earlier. Maybe that's a bonus thing that we're going to get at the end. Oh, I see. So there is a key here that is a bonus for being able to beat this level without the use of the checkpoint, like if you start over from scratch. So yeah, that's how the bonus is locked. That's going to be an up throw on the left side, which is going to nuke the muncher on the bottom left with the on-off interaction. That's fairly understandable. And yeah, this is just momentum control for when I get rid of the wall. So yeah, there is a reward for doing this without checkpoints. Unfortunately, due to the inability to repeat a level in a super world from the map itself, we're not going to see it right now. If we have time after this stream, maybe we will try to go back and do a no checkpoint run of this once we've already learned the level. But we'll see how we're doing for time at the end and what it makes sense to do with whatever is left of the stream at that point. Whoops. Yeah, it's going to be short bounces on the moles on the left side, except a high bounce on the left mole to get up to the on-off switch that was in the bottom left, that area. Okay, let's buy some time here. Yeah, these gaps here do kind of regulate your pacing in such a way that you do have to wait for a certain opportunity to make the next jump, and you can't get ahead of the level very much before things fall into place. Simply because you won't have the headroom to make certain jumps until you've fallen into a given position. Whoops. So, a lot of little subtle touches like that in this level just to make it so that the pacing is going to be consistent and the player can't get ahead to break anything. Let's actually land these jumps for a change. That would be very helpful. Whoops. Too low. Okay. And yeah, I keep trying to pull back, but obviously a little bit too late because I need to clear my way over the spikes first, and I think I'm just a little bit too slow with everything here. Should have actually jumped into that. But yeah, a couple of things here that do make you wait for a certain opportunity to fall in line. And that prevents you from going back up, which is not a sensible idea in the first place. And yeah, bunching up against the wall on the right side and falling down directly seems to be the best way to do it. So going towards the jump on the right side of this part of the layout, I actually do want to hit the wall if I can, because it'll cut momentum in a way that I want. Okay, I was going to go short bounce, high bounce, but I just overshot the mole completely. That's okay, we'll fix up some of this soon enough if we fix some of the jumps. And yeah, the one-up on checkpoint is definitely doing a lot of work here to maintain the checkpoint without any further complications. Definitely something that's very, as I said before, super world specific. Nope, I was trying to do a high bounce there and that missed. I was just a little bit late on pressing the button. Okay, let's hit this. And straight over. Nope. Well, it is meant to be a bonus level. Yeah, we do need to hit that. I did not get close enough to the icicle. You do need to go all the way up to the wall to be within the 2-tile range for the activation, and we just didn't get that. Okay, that was a little bit dangerous in that muncher, but we managed in the end. Once again, have to remember to crash into that wall here as well. Well, considering I missed catching the shell, that was a bit of a save, but I was a little bit late on everything at the end there, though. Yeah, I don't want to go quite that early on that jump. And yeah, that time with the switch after the moles, I just took too long to fall as well. So we'll try to make this work accordingly. And there we go, that's... I was about to say much cleaner, but we obviously went a bit early on that jump since I was thinking ahead to the icicle already. And then we'll go down and forward. Yeah, you do kind of need to catch the shell right away. The previous time that I had saved the attempt by just grabbing the shell again and throwing it on the way up, we wound up losing too much time anyway on the way back down, so not a good idea. Okay, no, it'll work here. Yeah, it's pretty elegantly put together, this level, in terms of having these stumps have a completely clear passage to fall down the layout and kind of give you a consistent set of stopping points. Because they do fall continuously, you just don't have room to fall with them due to all the blades in the way. And then we'll come over here, grab the icicle as soon as possible. Land. Oop, difficult landing there, but we made it almost. Only to get sniped like that. Samuel's going to request 114, and unfortunately the reset screen beat my pause screen ever so slightly. I hadn't seen it before, where my pause screen was kind of halfway up and got interrupted. No, we're going to read it now. Might as well take a small breather to bring up 114. Just give me a moment. Also gives me an opportunity to take a quick sip of my beverage. Okay, Samuel requests William Shakespeare, Sonnet 114. Or whether doth my mind, being crowned with you, drink up the monarch's plague, this flattery? Or whether shall I say, mine eye saith true, and that your love taught it this alchemy, to make of monsters and things indigest such cherubins as your sweet self resemble, creating every bad a perfect best, as fast as objects to his beams assemble. Oh, 'tis the first, 'tis flattery in my seeing, and my great mind most kingly drinks it up. Mine eye well knows what with his gust is agreeing, and to his palate doth prepare the cup. If it be poisoned, 'tis the lesser sin that mine eye loves it, and doth first begin. Thank you for that, Samuel. Glad to give that a go before we get right back into the descent. Oops. Yeah, I've been saying for probably about a year now that I need to update my channel point rewards with a few more choices. Just one of those things that I've been neglecting about the stream. That's okay, for now, Shakespeare will do. Oops, a little bit late reading this thing here, and we're just gonna pig out in the corner. Okay, well, if that's it, that's actually fairly short and reasonable segment. We just needed to fix up a couple of things along the way. I mean, you can only really prolong this descending segment for so long, given the space and the entity budget available. Especially with all the stumps requiring a demolition at the beginning, and so they're going to be expensive in the first place, along with all the saw blades in the way as well. And the on-off switches that have to be activated. Okay. And yeah, Samuel, I'm glad you enjoy that. It's been a long-standing reward on this channel for a reason. When people wish to exercise it. Good learning experience for me as well to familiarize myself with some of that work. I've always been a lot more familiar with the plays than with the sonnets. And so, sometimes it's on the stream that I'm introduced to some of that material myself. Whoops, no, not quite. just noticed the muncher keeps munching even after it gets powed. I think that's the kind of thing that you ordinarily wouldn't think about except in low gravity, where you get to see everything die so slowly. And yeah, look at that muncher just continuing to chomp and chomp away. Like it's trying to say its final words before it flies off screen. Yeah, on one hand, the dying chomps do add a lot of visual noise. But on the other hand, it's one of those effects that really kind of stands out in a level like this. You know, just have precipitating chains everywhere. Yeah, it's the switch that kills it, not the POW. That's obviously what we both meant. But a little late here, I was behind pace and I could tell. Okay, there we are. Now we need to be fairly quick about this. Ah, I see. So the on-off switch actually affects all of the remaining stump jobs. So it's not until you hit the on-off switch that you need to race the stump that's on the left side. But it's also not until you hit the on-off switch that you have access to the middle platform that gets you there. So yeah, it's an ending that is paced according to when you manage to reach that switch. And so I'm just thinking about like what would be the optimal thing to do in terms of hitting the on-off switch early or late in order to maximize our chances of getting through the pipe. Probably not something I need to think too hard about. I just need to land my jumps accurately and that will solve most of the problem. Yeah, it's actually just this on the left. Yeah, there's no middle platform, obviously. I'm opening up the middle gate, and it's the falling platform that we're going over. But the on-off switch is going to give me the final platform to go through. And so, as soon as I hit the on-off switch, I basically just need to go as quick as I can. And everything else is just going to fall in line with that specific timing. You have to admit that is one fine example of a strategically placed pig sound effect. Whoops. Yeah, I mean, I still have a fairly long reach just because low gravity does that to you. And so I do need to calibrate most of my estimates here accordingly. Okay, we'll grab the icicle immediately. And all this is fine. Except I do need to land accurately. And look at that, there's a pig on the other side as well. I didn't realize that. I guess that's for the people who miss the on-off switch and decide to ride their way to their doom in the bottom right anyway. Thought I was going to miss that, but thankfully, not the case. This is actually a fairly short segment. Not that many jumps that we're doing here. It's just that I've had to repeat a number of things from inaccuracy. Anyway, that's the big finish. We did not grab the key because the key only spawns for you the first time you reach checkpoint. So, nothing for me here. Let's not accidentally re-enter the pipe either. Possibly we'll try to see a secret room after we're finished the super world, but I feel like that would require some work, given how many issues we were having with both segments. 18 minutes on that, though, not too bad, given some of its intrinsic difficulty. Let's do some bonus rooms anyway, just to keep up the streak of not having had to do a reset yet. I've never been good at this, even going back to SMB3 originally. I remember back in the heyday of SMB3, I would just see other people consistently get this. That 3-part matching game. And I never really had a sense of visualization and timing to match up to that myself. Anyway, balloons are just going to be a free set. This is, of course, going to be baseball. Which unfortunately will not be part of the base selection in Nintendo Switch Sports, coming out later this month. Hey, are we actually going to get this perfectly? Yes, we are. Look at that. That's a rarity. Don't see that happen very often. Almost never, in fact. Okay. Let's go to the castle. You still don't understand how the balloon minigame works. I think it's pure RNG. You just pump the thing and wait for the result. I don't know that it's actually controllable. If it is, that's news to me. Because I always assumed it was just completely random. Okay, the castle here is going to be next. Ability of the Sun's Song. Ah yes, this is the one by Shushiro. Who loves making Zelda dungeons. We've played a number of Zelda dungeons by them in the past. Nope, I thought I'd bop that and that was not clever. Also because Link can't kill these in the first place, I should have remembered that. I don't know why. I thought I could sword into them. As far as the bot issues go, Samuel, I don't really know. I mean, they have been kind of adapting recently, and I have to kind of update my counter-bot measures. So, do we want to go... well, we can't get past the one-way panel until I've gotten rid of the muncher, so we'll do that, and then we'll move to booze. Maybe. Let's fall onto the platform while facing, and then... The facing direction always throws me off when I'm climbing the vine, because it's a little unintuitive. But if you do a vine climb here in SMB1, yeah, if you're on the left side of the vine, you're facing right. If you're on the right side of the vine, you're facing left. The animation, of course, makes that clear, but when you're actually playing, it's surprisingly difficult to understand. I think I just want to drag all the boos to the left if I can first. The way I'll do it is just, you know, doing it like this and dragging them out so we can cluster them together. Yeah, let's just cluster them all up here. And then not deal with them. That's a much saner way of doing this. Anyway, yeah, not much to do other than break this. And I'm looking at other things I could potentially break with Link here, but it doesn't look like it. I love how it has that sound effect. Yeah, it's the wake-up tune for the change to day from night. That's a lovely... I've played so many Zelda dungeons, and I actually don't think I've really seen that specifically used for sunrise. Anyway, we're going to have to state change here, which is going to turn this into a segment that just opens up the right side. So there's going to be, yeah. Oh, that's why this level is called Ability of the Sun Song. It's because it is going to be about changing day and night. Okay, it looks like the boo does allow me to fire an arrow through to hit the on-off switch, or more likely a bomb, in fact. No, it's going to be an arrow. You just need to stand a little more accurately to lower this, and that allows me to go through. Have I bumped this? I don't think I get anything there. You didn't realize what a jingle was when you played it? Yeah, no, it's definitely... one of the ocarina chimes. Let's see. Like, it's not the song that you play, but it's the chime that responds to you. I'm trying to remember if it was the same chime in the original warp in Link to the Past as well. Like the warp whistle. I don't think it was, but like my memory for Zelda music is actually extremely good, just not while I'm playing a level at the same time and listening to the overworld theme. Okay, so... Oh, you can actually step on the bottom. I didn't realize that this is a safe floor. That obviously helps. Because then that means I can just dunk this, and then... What do we do about the other muncher? Let me see here. I think we need to think about this for a moment. I want to eventually drop the twister down here, because the twister will come over here and lift the muncher out of the way. And that's what I want to do. And then the bumper will protect me from the muncher when that happens. So in order to do that, we need to pay attention to the fact that there actually is an opening here. We place a bomb here, and the blaster is going to push it up into this position, and then that's going to blow up the block that's under the twister. So the thing that I was missing was that there is an open slot here on the bottom of this bumper. And that's going to be what we use. There we go. And then we'll make it through. And yeah, let's go. We're going to do the state switch here. And yeah, that just kind of regulates the state switch as well as your spawning location. Both of those factors are going to determine the manner of the scroll break that leads you to the next room. So now, we need to figure out how to enter the pipe by locating the blaster there. In order to locate the blaster there, we need to get the boos out of the way. This is an interesting interaction here. Look at how the boos kind of unstack like this. So the boos that are in the 3 stack are clearly bound to something else that's at the bottom of the stack that's in the poison. What's interesting to me is that the other boo that's holding the blaster is blocked on the right side. Probably because there is... Oh, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how that kind of trap works in terms of how the boo on the right side is being regulated. And what's keeping it in place. Possibly that boo is... Oh, okay, no, you can actually lift it. But if you do lift it, yeah, you can nudge it out of position, but then that requires me to reset, I think. If I'm able to. There is a reset door on the right side, that's probably what it's for, except can I get to the reset door now? I think I would need to take damage. Yeah, you need to take damage and then go to the reset door. I clearly blew this. Normal boos and stacked boos don't get along. That's interesting. I don't think I've seen this interaction. In terms of the boo collision happening that way. It's not from the blaster terminator, because very often what would happen is that if the boo is able to proceed and the blaster is not, the blaster would just drop off the stack and get pushed. I believe. So this is something else that's happening. You know what? Hey, Terminator, we have been taught to do this, so we'll just do it this way. That's actually specifically a Terminator-style interaction. That doesn't really help me, except... Yeah, I can try to blow things up. Lower the cannon. And then if I reset through here, what happens? Okay, it contains fines, so that does nothing, and we'll likely hit timeout before we can deal with the checkpoint. And that doesn't actually do much for me, because I could have just used Link here to begin with. So that doesn't do anything except give me the POW on the left side. Okay, that's good, that's interesting. Because the POW on the left side probably does the unstack. The unstack allows me to move the boo into the correct location. That's how to solve that, and then we'll have the song. We'll have some kind of breakage on the top right. And we'll likely time out and have to redo a bunch of this anyway. Oh, that's okay, we got a solution. That's the important thing. And we've got a couple of boos here with the Zelda 1 boss music as we get into 5 seconds, so I won't have time to actually read this. It looks like we need to toss bombs probably in the locations that will blow up the ice and perhaps give me a coin drop on top of some of the note blocks there. So that's how we're going to do it. We're going to toss this. We're going to release the stack. Then we're going to move the boo over. Can I move it down slightly? Yes. Okay. And it's going to lower into place there if the blaster drops off anyway, so. There we are. And yeah, notice how the reset door gets blocked off once the state switch has been activated, just to prevent any further breakage. So in all these circumstances, it looks like I am able to, whoops, perhaps move up, except the boo locations here are going to be a little tricky to deal with. But yeah, I should be able to drop a bomb over here. And that gives me something to climb on, which is good. Because that's how we'll do the next big jump here. As well as our exit on this side. Yeah, nice little 3-hit pattern here in the distinctive style of a Zelda boss. Now let's try to get out of here safely. And there we go. Play the song again. And the sun comes up. On the next day, we proceeded to the next room. Okay, that's just going to be an exit door. Let's see where this is going to take us. Okay, straight to the Triforce, except it does kind of look like there's something up top here, doesn't there? Very suspicious. I wonder. No. That's okay, we'll take the finish. It really does look like there's something that's supposed to take me up top, doesn't it? Maybe if we broke the hard block... No, that's just a flag. That's not anything. Yeah, that's not going to be anything. That's just a flag. The base of the flag, rather. Hang on. Yeah, that's just a flag. Let's see if we can do anything else here. I don't think so. We can always look at the layout afterwards. No, and if you peek upwards by one tile, you would see that it's just ceiling there. There's absolutely nothing of note. That's okay, we got it. We haven't been seeing some of those secret stars lately, though. Which makes me wonder just how many secrets we've been missing, if there are any that follow that system. Anyway, that's it for World 4. Let's move on to the 5th and final world. With 4 more levels to go. Might as well pop some more lives since our bank is a little bit low. Hey, we actually got it again. That's marvelous. Samuel, not exactly secrets, but it seemed like a lot of the levels, especially in the early worlds, had a free superstar at the end that didn't really do anything for you except make you look flashy. And so they weren't secrets necessarily, but they seemed to be bonuses. And of course, a lot of these levels do have secret exits, or hard mode exits tied to them as well. Sometimes dependent on checkpoints, sometimes dependent on keys. And so I don't know if it was something that was consistently the case across all levels, or if it was just something that was there if the individual makers wanted to put them in. Because that's not information that I would have, so... Let's take a quick baseball break here. Okay. That knuckleball trying to trick me out. Hey, we got this perfectly twice in a row. I don't know that this has ever happened. But I'll take it. Before we head into the airship. Clowns and clouds. That sounds very promising. In terms of dynamic aerial movement everywhere. Oh, those kinds of clouds, okay. We obviously were supposed to go down to the door. I was just very curious. And in fact, the auto-scroll picks up speed just to squash you extra fast. Alright, let's get in here. Oh. Auto-scroll going to do its thing, and then... I thought for a moment I was going to miss, hence the overcorrection there. But yeah, the Buzzy in the clown car is just going to act as a bouncy platform. In the right place at the right time, trapped in the one-way panels. I don't know why I thought I would jump on top of the muncher. That was obviously not the right idea. Let's bounce this guy. And miss. Yeah, the timing of the clouds in terms of how they fall into the track is spaced in such a way that they have less than a full tile between them, and it actually is fairly smooth to, first of all, land on the clouds as well as run over them without worrying about falling through or anything. As long as you catch them once they have landed. That's kind of interesting that the cloud positions at the speed that you're going track you in what should be a fairly predictable way. And that's clearly we didn't have time to ride that clown car any further because it would have bumped uncontrollably into this blade over here, so we did have to jump out. And there didn't seem to be any choice to keep it. Time for another vertical descent after the one that we had seen earlier. Yeah, the kind of quick drop off the track is throwing me off slightly. We do clearly need to jump to the clouds that are coming in on the right. Okay, there we go. Yeah, pretty twisty pattern here, but if we read it cleanly, we should be fine. I don't know why I thought I could go to that directly. I think I am supposed to ride the clown car out, even though it is going to get bumped around a little bit. And as usual, it's going to be one up at checkpoint. Yeah, I didn't quite estimate how those clouds coming off the curved track were going to spill me over as well. That was just an additional bit of misreading on my part. Yeah, let's drop in. Yeah, because they curve down pretty aggressively when they do follow the curved track. Okay, so I get it. That if you ride the clown car down, then the thwomp is going to come in and push you, and then I need to jump over the thwomp. So yeah, we just need to sort out the timing. I guess riding the clown car all the way down during its bumped phase is actually going to be the right idea. We just need the thwomp to hit everything first, and then... Now we have some freedom of movement, which is interesting because it means we can drag these guys wherever we want. And I think it makes sense to take them up high if possible. And then just buy myself as much room as I can to get into the exit. Oh, that was quick. No, very short and sweet. I mean, it's an expensive setup if you think about just how many clouds on tracks there are, each taking up one entity slot. So, perhaps it's not surprising that that would be really quite brief. The Skywalker. Now here's the question, if you finish this level, is there another Skywalker? This one is by Lego Mario, who is also new to me. We do need to kind of take this basically as an auto runner and maintain speed, so let's do it. It's also in the Hall of the Mountain King. At a very brisk tempo, with all of the blocks kind of nudging you and bumping you from underneath to give you a bit of bounce. So we just need to time this accurately because the spike balls really do chase you right under your feet. It's pretty fancy once you see it in action because it is like you're just riding a single block over the whole time. It does look very cool for sure. Let's remember to jump. Yeah, because the blocks get activated and then almost immediately demolished, and so it is like there's this tiny moving platform that's speeding along with you. That was obviously a short bounce. Yeah, also a nice way to kind of do a very interesting platforming setup on a low budget with the amount of entity space remaining after all of the music setup that is already going on. Because it's not actually that expensive a gimmick if you look at the spike balls and the thwomps and how this setup has been put together. That was maybe slightly inaccurate on my part. Let's go back to fix that up. I don't know why I jumped there. That was pretty clearly a bad idea. And yeah, just love that single spike at the end. We've died to a couple of similar locations, even over the course of this stream. Jumping over a single spike with a low ceiling seems to be extremely troublesome for us from time to time. Whoops, too soon. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, we have a pretty good idea at this point of what to clean up, and it's still reasonably entertaining to just be mesmerized by the visual qualities of this gimmick here, as well as having a chance to listen to the Mountain King do its thing in the sky and very quickly. And that's the same kind of jump again. I run into that a lot. Uncomfortably often, considering how much I've played this game at this point. Okay, let's go and continue. Not the best jump. And yeah, we know we can do a lot better than that. I'm kind of trying to study what's going on with the setup at the same time, which is a bad idea because I'm obviously not watching my spacing closely enough. Yeah, because the trampolines that are on top of the swamps are keeping the spike balls alive the whole time. The small spike ball is doing the block activation, and the big spike ball is demolishing everything immediately afterwards, so... surprisingly simple for something that looks that spectacular. And then look at the positioning of the cloud, too, just perfectly timed. And you've got these Goombas in the sky that make this look kind of like two eyes and a mouth. There's your pareidolia for today. Yeah, because you're just maintaining speed the whole time, the clouds are also going to be in a predictable position for you. So you get out of that. Labyrinth Woods. Another one by Eugen. Naturally, we'll go for the glitchy 50 coin first. What's activating the switch? Ah, I see, okay. I knew it had to be something, I just couldn't see what. But yeah, now I see bomb on top of on-off switch, that's very clear. And then you kind of need to get to the next location quickly, although I do wonder about those vines as well, whether that next set was going to be reachable. It's not. Yeah, as I discovered in some previous levels, I do have trouble visualizing my momentum when there are walls in the way, even though those walls are just about to disappear. So I kind of expect to be stopped in my tracks. And then, okay, here's an issue. Now I can't really see where I'm going. Because I was not really supposed to climb that in the first place. I think climbing that is going to consistently be death. So that was a bit of an awkward location, but... yeah, because we do have enough time to stay on the lower platforms and wait for the next platform to come down on that track, which seems to be regulated by on-off switches in its own right. Okay, because now I understand that. Obviously, the first time through there, I didn't know that there would be that platform dropping in right away on the right side, and the vine did look like a plausible place to go, so... I think maybe the idea partly would be that you activate the first platform and might be able to cling onto the vine before you activate the second one. Maybe. Like if you jump up right away? No, you can't quite reach. At least not with the momentum that I'm putting into it. I haven't exactly counted the blocks there, but... yeah, nice high jumps there just to maintain momentum, I think, and then we do have to leave that falling platform immediately in order to make it further. There we go. Activate that. We've got some shorter activation times now. But yeah, the fact that some of those vines are climbable, even though the first one gives you a bonus, and the other ones are just death traps, that does strike me as a little bit strange, but... I guess you're looking at those things and thinking, well, it's definitely not just decoration, right? Given how readily reachable they seem to be. Yeah, but that's okay. It's something we've learned from. And we just need to maintain good forward momentum here and... too soon. Quite obviously too soon, although I wonder if I could get on top of the pipe. It seemed like I was reasonably close to doing so, and with full forward momentum it may have been reachable. We'll go back and see it. Okay, let's drop some of these guys. Whoops. Not quite. There we go. Checkpoint plus 1 up. So, interestingly enough, the bomb is going to hit a switch, but then the Muncher stack is still going to be topped off by the Piranha stack leading up to the Goomba. So we'll try to catch that as we go and lower this. Nice placement on that shell. It took me a moment to read, but it clearly is blind-friendly in its own way. We will need better positioning off of that falling platform, though. The other side. Yeah, trying to think about what to land on when a shell comes out there was definitely a momentary thrill. I mean, you do have enough time to see it if you're watching the bottom layer carefully, which I was not doing. Here we just land on a Buzzy and then land on the POW, which is going to prevent me from lowering the platform. Okay, let's do this. Whoops. Slipping off of those Buzzies again, which is, I guess, a consequence of being in the mindset of expecting a bounce, even though it's very clear that you just ride those guys directly. Nope. Poor reaction time there. I knew something was going to happen. With the time pressure from that icicle, I just didn't expect the thwomp to be that much faster than the icicle in terms of my window for getting out of there safely. There is an arrow there giving you a landing zone on the spiny. I was previously failing to notice that completely because we don't really read indications around here. Yeah, everything here is pretty understandable from there. Oh, we're gonna get franked over here. With the ceiling dumping me off the platform. I've thought about that as getting franked every time I've seen it recently since playing the Frank 88 level last year. That was pretty much entirely about that mechanic of being dunked by ceilings all over the place. Which was also, now that I think about it, in SMB1 Jungle. That's okay, we'll make it over bit by bit. Seems like there was something up above, but didn't really get a good look at it. And those vines once again looked reachable. But again, that might just be a decorative death trap, so let's not think too hard about it. Let's just grab us and go. Yeah, Samuel, you gotta get to bed. I mean, you've seen this already, of course, so we're just, I think, one level away at this point. But thanks for dropping by, regardless. Good to have you over here. And you're saying the final boss is really cool, and you're wishing me good luck. Well, thank you. We'll see that momentarily, and hopefully have a blast. The final boss is a level by Persia, once again. And given some of Persia's spectacular creations, definitely looking forward to this. The final battle. Let's see it. Oh, once again, as with the Ludwig fight in one of the earlier boss castles, we're going to have a cutscene introduction here. With, once again, this damage gate, which I'm sure, yet again, has to do with some kind of safety mechanism. So it's actually going to be a direct sequel to the first battle that we had with Ludwig much earlier. The same kind of caging mechanism, except this time we don't have pokey walls. We have blaster walls completely confining us on the inside, so. Also notice the Bowser Jr. statue right by the door as we come in. Alright, let's do this. And yeah, we do need to watch our synchronization there. No point jumping around, we should just follow the vines and climb up and down as necessary. There's really not going to be enough of a margin there to be doing any jumping and dropping. At least not safely. Unless we really need to get up to the ceiling on a moment's notice, but I think it's better to just climb and dodge up and down as much as we can. And just watch the timings as we go. Notice that Ludwig's placement on the track does put him on the right side, shooting left the whole way, whereas we could have maintained his position and pointed him in the direction of our choosing on the previous Ludwig castle that we saw. Here, no such luck. We're kind of limited to a projectile pattern that we'll just have to deal with carefully as we go. Okay, let's see this. And yeah, there is going to be a certain degree of randomization to the projectile pattern, of course, but thankfully enough room to move that we should be able to dodge anything he throws at us, just needs a bit of care and attention. It's mainly the moving block patterns that worry me, because we'll be watching that and the projectiles at the same time. Okay, here we go. Oh, oops, kind of got lodged on top of the block there and momentarily stopped. Okay. So yeah, I think I know at this point that I should go top for this second series of flying blocks. For both of them so far, in fact. As long as we avoid projectiles, the synchronization of the track elements is going to be very consistent, so we mainly just need to play reactively to the projectiles, but the positioning of everything else should be comparatively consistent. But yeah, projectile RNG obviously is going to add a little bit of spice to this in terms of throwing me out of some kind of intended position. We should expect in those tight corners to be moving left and right as well, which I've not really been doing very much. But yeah, we'll go top every time and just try to nudge my way back and forth to maintain a safe position if I can. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that time it seemed like I was bound to get squashed, so I guess the intention to go up top was maybe stymied by my horizontal position that time. I was just too far left, in fact. Yeah, sometimes you kind of need to determine your position on the left or the right side of the curtain to get around those blocks. I am trying to find something consistent that'll work. But of course, the projectiles do throw me off slightly every time. But if we kind of maintain the right side boundary, then the first stack is going to consistently be dodged by the top. Then, there we go. Tricky moment with the icicle over there, but then we are going to get into the final area. And once again, we got pokey stacks and curtains. Whoa, this is going to be quick. Really quick. And then, okay, let's go like this. And then we'll go down and get whacked by fire coming over that track. So there's going to be quite a lot to dodge here that we need to be keeping an eye on. In Ludwig's little garden cage. And yeah, being able to predict my landing location on vines is going to be fairly important. I'm trying to catch them as they spawn on the left side. I'm nudging myself up, but I'm also not planning very well against the projectiles coming in there, so... Let's do it again. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I'm kind of instinctively trying to get out of the floor there before the grinders decide to chop me to pieces, but Ludwig's projectiles are having none of it here. Definitely going to appreciate the one-ups on the checkpoint at this stage. But, okay, we're good. Ceiling was the way to go there, but... I mean, the fire is going to be consistently positioned. So there is going to be some kind of optimal gap to run through there as well, but we will have to find it. And yeah, I am supposed to duck a little bit longer under the plant there. That will be a very minor adjustment to make. Whoops. Definitely feeling the claustrophobia here, given the limitations on how much pace I have to work with. Nope. Occasionally I just nudge on the D-pad up or down a step too far. That's consistently been the control issue here as I try to react to some of this on the fly. There we go, that's further than before. Alright, that was not that bad once we got through it. Now we have to actually kill him. Okay. Shell form, that was going to be a problem. I knew that was going to be an issue. And yeah, that's just a tight little cage fight against Ludwig in as normal a Koopaling form as possible. We just need to get out of this segment first. And I did do this whole back half of it blindly earlier. We just need to make sure we can replicate as many of these jumps as we can. But the fact that I could kind of blast through that part in one go is a pretty good sign of faith for the readability of this segment. Okay, there we go. And back down. Okay, we just need to make this jump and the other jump. That's fairly simple. Now we need to get into this fight. Let's dodge the shell form if we can. There we go. That's completion. Well, that's the castle, and that was very nice. As a way of tying all of this together with a sequel to that fight that we saw much earlier. And that's the finale. Now there is an end credit sequence after this that I am going to load up. It is a separate level that's not linked directly as part of the Super World, but is on the Super Korean World profile, so we'll definitely take a quick look at that. before we proceed. And yeah, that was really quite a ton of fun. As you can see, this was uploaded, or at least last updated back in March. With most things in order, apart from some re-upload of Ability of the Sun's song over here. Yeah, I think Meltdown Madness was a definite highlight as a global music level with a lot of platforming to it. Loved the Yoshi's Island puzzle, particularly on hard mode. I see now with the thumbnails that these are kind of matched as Red Yoshi and Green Yoshi. Or Green Yoshi and Red Yoshi as well. That was kind of a nice touch. Really quite a fine selection. And very diverse as well, and also just kind of perfectly paced. Like, we ended up with about 3.5 hours on these, and that's with being moderately thorough. Didn't quite get every secret exit along the way. But I've always found that 3 to 4 hours is just kind of ideally paced for a super world. And, you know, you have to adjust the number of levels by difficulty, of course, but it's the perfect length for feeling like a very complete experience that is also presentable in the space of a single stream. So let's read the thank you message and the Super Korean World credits. Produced by Persia. So it is going to be clear pipes revealing everything. We didn't really see much of 3D World at all, did we? Super Korean World. Oh, I should have run around the blocks a little bit more over there. So the propeller is going to show me the makers. Let's take a look. It's asking me to go up on this side. Sure, we'll do it. And whoops. And yeah, Neojin and Shosei, Persia and Shushiro and somebody else down here. Lego Mario. And yeah, the makers, of course, were attached to their individual levels as well, so we should kind of acknowledge that. The name of the puzzle maker for the Yoshi levels is just R. I'll be quite curious to see more of R's on-screen puzzles. Was very obviously an experienced puzzle designer, so I just don't know enough of the puzzle makers from that side of the community. So we have Android, we have Lostine, Android D rather, RBC, the music maestro, and Poltris, of course. What else do we have here? We have Lunar. Lunar was the one responsible, I believe, for the bonus level in World 4 that we saw earlier. And Doyosu 12. Okay, yeah. That's hopefully close enough to the actual pronunciation of her name. Made by 14 Korean makers. And it's going to tell me, thank you for playing. I couldn't quite see what the one-up pattern was at the end. It seemed like it was some kind of pattern for how they were initially arranged, but we'll, of course, take the cat because we'll do a bit of a climb up here, and then that's going to be it before we just go straight up the flagpole. And that's going to be it for Super Korean World. Really quite a marvelous experience. highly recommended. And we'll just bring up the maker code once more for people who would like to see it. And yeah, quite a lot to look into individually. I will have to find some of the individual makers. Like, I don't know, for instance, if doing more info. Yeah, first cleared by R, who is the original maker here. I'm actually kind of curious about whether they're kind of a puzzle regular. Lots of puzzles, in fact. We'll need to look at some of this at some point. Forest of Moderation. Seems like a lot of these are kind of in sequence as well. And I wonder if a lot of the first clears are also attached to their respective makers in terms of having a convenient link to them. So for example, if we went to something like the bonus level, perhaps, because that's somebody who was new to me. Let's see. Where was that? It was... you see, I don't remember some of these levels by name. Yeah, this is kind of arranged in sequence, top to bottom, not bottom to top. Yeah, because the shipwreck level, this was by Lunar. So, for example, if we go in here, no, first clue was by Poulterous. But surely the original maker is locatable somewhere here as well. I mean, I know who to ask if I need some of the maker codes because I'm in contact with Persia and RBC and some of the other people involved in this, so we'll definitely have to look some of these up along the way. And NatCat is coming in with a party of 3. Let's give you a shout out, NatCat. So, we actually just finished Super Korean World, but since NatCat, you just came in with some people, we will probably follow this up with a couple of backlog levels. Like, I'm not actually going to run a Qbot, I don't think, but we'll bring in a couple of levels manually from people who are present. Because we literally just saw the end credits of Super Korean World after having been on it for the last 3.5 hours or so. Highly recommended, by the way, if you haven't played it already. NatCat, you know most of the makers involved, I think. And you might be on that already. But we're going to take a quick break. But once again, Super Korean World, a wonderful experience. We'll be following it up with some other levels in just a bit. So see you folks in a few minutes. I am remaining on stream. And we'll be back very soon.